morning, salam alaikum, and welcome to another breakfast edition of Bite Me with Nicole. And clearly today I have shuffled in here in my pajamas like I often do on the weekend, because we wake up late on those rare days and we get to have a really big, wonderful, audacious breakfast. So for you today I have a Dutch baby or a Dutch pancake, okay, or a Dutch baby pancake. So these pancakes are pretty much a cross between a pancake, and they have the lift of a souffle, but they still have the texture of a really nice pancake. So all in all, this covers different worlds and it's delicious and easy to make. That is the biggest thing. You actually have to do work only for about, I would say, 2 minutes, okay, getting your prep in order and then blending things up. The other time you just have to wait for it to cook and wait for the mix to absorb and get delicious. So to start with, what you need first is a blender, okay? You can use a food processor as well if you have this, but don't do it by hand because you won't get that aeration that you're requiring for the lift of the entire pancake. So to start with, what I have here is just half a cup of all-purpose flour. Just put that in. Literally everything just goes into a blender. It's so simple and it's so fabulous when it comes out, because it's got this big, huge sort of star power when it enters the room. And I'm talking about food, yes I am. Okay, next I have half a cup of milk. And I use low-fat milk. Most recipes will tell you to use whole milk and full-fat milk, but I have done it with low-fat for the entire time I've made this, and it's delicious and it fluffs up and it's fine. Okay, next I have about 2.5 tablespoons of sugar. And this is just some fine sugar. And here is a big pinch of fine salt. So about half a teaspoon, I would say, if you want a measurement. Next I have 2 eggs. And when you're making this, try and find really good high quality eggs, fresh eggs. If they're organic, excellent, because you are going to be able to taste the egg when you make this. Not in an eggy way, but in sort of a way where you know it's an egg-based breakfast or dessert or brunch or lunch or dinner, whatever you want to make out of it. Okay, now I have about a whole teaspoon of vanilla essence. You can even go and add a little bit more because you get that lovely flavor when it bakes. Alright, now all I'm going to do is just blend this for about, I don't know, like 10 seconds, 20 seconds maximum. Alright, and then I'll show you what it looks like. So in the middle of the first blend, you're going to take it off again and get a spatula, and you're going to scrape down the sides. That's to make sure that all the flour gets incorporated as well as the sugar. Alright, you don't want any lumps. A lot of recipes will call for you to put butter into the mix as well. I don't do that because I'm going to cook the entire thing in a lot of butter again, and it doesn't really require the extra fat. So just scrape with your spatula and kind of give it a tiny bit of a stir, and then you're going to let it blend again for about another 10 to 20 seconds. Once it's finished blending, you're just going to pop it open, get some lime or lemon, depending on where you are in the world, and just zest some of the lemon into the mix. Now, if you're a good patient person, what you're going to do is let your mix just sit for about 25 minutes to half an hour. And what that does is it helps all of the flour to absorb all of the liquid that we've incorporated with it. Now, you don't really have to do this, but it will 100% be tastier and it will fluff up more if you allow this step. So pretty much all you have to do now is wait, and this is the hardest part, okay, is the waiting. So just go about doing something else for that little bit of time. So I waited for about half an hour. I was a very good child. I'm going to get lots of presents from Santa this year. And now in an 8-inch skillet or in a baking dish that's going to support that much of volume, you're going to get 2 tablespoons of butter, okay? And you're just going to wait for your butter to melt completely. Now, a lot of people will tell you to heat your skillet up in the oven while your oven is preheating, which you're going to start about in the last 15 minutes of the half an hour. And you're going to heat your oven to 200 or 210 degrees, all right? I find it easier to heat up my skillet on the stove because I know it's going to be super hot then, and that my butter will melt completely and get nice and foamy. So once you've got a lovely pool of butter going, just give it a tiny bit of a stir, just drag a little bit of it up on the sides. Alright, now you're going to get your mix, alright? Be very quick with all of this, and just before I'm going to put my mix in, I let it blend for another 10 seconds. And now you just go all together, alright? Get all of it in. And then very quickly, get your skillet and put it into the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes, and you'll see the whole thing rise up, and I'll show you how to check if it's completely done as well. And it's been 12 minutes now and I'm going to check on the Dutch baby. Whew, risen quite a bit. That is how fantastic it looks. It's completely a statement dish. So to check if it's done, just give it a tiny bit of a touch and you'll see that it's fluffy just like a cake. Often when you make these, they'll also have a very large depression in the middle. This one is being very well behaved today and it's all puffy in the middle as well. Okay? This is a dish that you want to eat quite quickly. And also if you see this kind of pool of butter on top, that's fine. Don't worry about it. That's exactly how it's supposed to look. Don't stand on ceremony when it comes to this dish. You want to eat it as soon as it's out, okay? Because they do tend to go flat. Now over here, I just have some blueberries, but you can top this any way you want with all sorts of fruit. That's why I have bananas and plums and peaches and everything that can go with it, okay? So just put on your blueberries and then you get some sugar. Now here I have icing sugar. And this is pretty much the entire basis of this. This is what makes a Dutch baby so cute. Now it will fall all over the place as you can see. But that's fine, it's a weekend, you can make a little bit of a mess. I'm going to clean up my own mess anyway in the end. So there you go, just like snow. Alright. And also for the final flourish, you do need lemon slices, okay? Now this is traditionally served with just sugar, butter and lemon and it is so good just like that as well. You definitely need the acid to help this dish. Now I'm gonna grab a plate and serve myself some of this. So like I was saying, you want to eat this quite quickly. Now this will serve 2 people if this is all that's on offer for brunch or breakfast. But if you're doing like a whole slew of dishes like bacon and eggs and stuff, this will feed 4 people, all right? Look at that lovely texture. It's surprisingly light as well. The only thing I have to say is that you guys have to try it at home to realize how delicious this is. It's got that perfect sort of baked egg-y cake texture, and I mean that in the most wonderful way because it's silky on your palate. It's got a lovely little bit of a chew to it, and with the salt and the vanilla and then the fruit and the lime, it is just fabulous. I hope you guys make this recipe at home, share it with somebody that you love or somebody that you want to impress, and I hope you have a wonderful time.
Hello and welcome to Bite Me, where Nicole's top is matching the beer.